Right now, there's a baby somewhere lying on its back, staring at the ceiling. And if you asked the parent standing next to it what's going on in that little head, they'd probably say something like nothing, or hunger, or that it just needs to sleep. But what if we've been missing something this whole time? What if there's something behind those eyes that we never stopped to think about? What if that baby knows right now that it exists? Or, and this is the one that should actually bother you, what if it doesn't? What if you are the only thing in this entire universe that knows it's alive? And what if you used to be that baby on the ceiling and you have absolutely no memory of it? In 1977, a psychologist named Andrew Meltzoff did something very simple. He took a newborn baby, 42 minutes old, not days, not weeks, 42 minutes, and he stuck out his tongue. The baby copied him immediately. Now that sounds like nothing, but think about what that actually means. That baby had never seen its own face, never seen a mirror, had no idea what it looked like, and yet somehow it knew that what was happening on his face was also possible on its own. It already had a map of its own body from the very first minutes of being alive. Most people hear that and think, so what? Babies copy things. That's just what they do. You smile, they smile. You yawn, they yawn. It's cute. It's automatic. It doesn't mean anything. And for a long time, that's exactly what scientists thought. Just a reflex. Nothing more. But then something strange happens. Take that same baby. Wait a few months. Put it in front of a mirror. It will smile. It will wave. It will try to touch the baby it sees in the glass, like it's meeting someone new. It has no idea that's itself. The same baby that knew it had a face at 42 minutes. Can't recognize that face at 6 months. And here's where a lot of scientists start to disagree, because the mirror test only measures one thing: whether you can connect your face to your reflection. That's a visual skill. And vision in a baby this age is barely working. A 6-month-old sees the world as a blur. Shapes, light, movement. Asking a baby to recognize itself in a mirror might be like asking you to recognize yourself from a sound you've never heard before. We've been asking the wrong question. The real question is much harder. In 2004, a researcher named Philippe Rochat spent years studying babies across different countries, different cultures, different languages, and he found something that was the same everywhere. Babies don't just suddenly recognize themselves one day. It happens in stages. At 2 months, a baby starts to notice that its own hand movements feel different from everything else it sees. At 4 months, it knows that its body is separate from the world around it. At 1 year, it starts to understand that it exists in time, that it was here yesterday and will be here tomorrow. By their own rules, on their own timeline, babies know exactly who they are, long before they can see it in a mirror. But there's a problem with all of that. Knowing your hand is yours is not the same as knowing you exist. Knowing your body is separate from the world is not the same as knowing there's a you inside it. Those are two completely different things. One is just information. The other is the question that keeps philosophers up at night. There's a word for what babies might be missing. Philosophers call it self-awareness. Not just feeling things, not just reacting to things, but knowing that you are the one feeling them. Not just being alive, but knowing you're alive. And here's the thing. You know exactly what that feels like. Right now, you're not just taking this in. You know you're taking this in. There's something in you that's watching yourself think. That's been there your whole life, but it wasn't always. There was a time when it wasn't there yet, and you have no memory of it. And that question, when exactly does it begin, is one researchers couldn't let go of. In 2003, a psychologist named Vasudevi Reddy spent years watching babies in their most ordinary moments, being held, being fed, being changed. And she noticed something nobody had written down before. Babies as young as 2 months would do something unexpected. Kick a leg, make a sound, and then pause and watch. Like they were waiting to see what happened next. Like they were testing whether they had any effect on the world around them. They weren't just reacting to the world, they were already asking, am I doing this? And it doesn't stop there. Newborns prefer their mother's voice over any other sound because they heard it in the womb. 3-month-olds can tell the difference between a happy face and a sad one. 6-month-olds understand that when you drop something, it falls every single time. 9-month-olds follow your eyes to see what you're looking at. They're not just in the world, they're reading it. And all of this before they can say a single word. But here's the problem. All of that, the imitation, the self-monitoring, the reading of faces, it's all behavior. We can watch what babies do. We can measure it. We can film it. But we cannot get inside what they actually feel. We have no idea if there's anything it's like to be them. We can see everything from the outside. And the inside, that's the part nobody can reach. Here's what we mean by that. Think about what it feels like to be cold. Not the temperature, not the science, the actual feeling. That specific, private sensation that only you can feel from the inside. Now think about a baby. Does it feel that? Or does it just react to it, pulling its legs in, starting to cry, with nobody actually home to experience it? That's the question nobody can answer, because you can't hand a baby a piece of paper and ask it to write down what being alive feels like. A philosopher named Thomas Nagel had the same problem. In 1974, he wrote a paper with one of the best titles in the history of philosophy. What is it like to be a bat? His point was simple. Bats navigate by sound. They hear the world as a map of echoes that we cannot even begin to imagine. And no matter how many bat brains we scan, we will never know what that actually feels like from the inside. Now replace bat with baby. A baby experiences the world through sensations we left behind so long ago that we have no memory of them. And no matter how many studies we run, we cannot get back in there. The inner experience is gone, and we were all in it once. But not everyone is ready to give up on that question. In 2023, a group of scientists from Trinity College Dublin published a paper in one of the most respected journals in neuroscience. Their conclusion: there is evidence that some form of conscious experience is present at birth and may even begin before it. In the womb, in plain English, the baby lying on that ceiling, the lights are probably already on. We just never thought to check. And when you think about it, why would it be any other way? Evolution doesn't build things from scratch. Your eyes started as a patch of cells that could tell light from dark. Legs started as fins. Lungs started as gills. A developmental psychologist named Annette Karmiloff-Smith spent decades arguing exactly this. Consciousness in babies, she said, isn't a switch. It's a dial. We're not born with it. We're born into it. And here's the thing that stays with you. You were that baby. You were lying somewhere, staring at a ceiling, feeling things you will never remember. You had experiences, real ones, and every single one of them is gone. Not forgotten the way you forget a name or a face. Gone in a way that no effort, no therapy, no hypnosis can bring back. The first time you felt warmth, the first time you felt hungry, the first time you heard a voice and didn't know what a voice was. All of it happened. None of it stayed. And yet, something did stay. Not a memory, not an image, not a single moment you can point to, but you. You stayed. That baby on the ceiling became you. Somehow, through all of it, the feelings, the experiences, the things that left no trace, something kept going. Something continued. If nothing was home back then, how are you here now? So where does that leave us? The science says yes. Babies have a sense of their own body from the very first minutes. Yes, they monitor themselves in the world before they can speak. Yes, consciousness is probably present at birth and maybe even before. But the question you actually want answered, does that baby on the ceiling know it exists? That one we still can't fully reach. We can get close, but the last step, the one that goes from behavior to experience, that one nobody has crossed yet. But there are things we do know. Every year, the gap gets smaller. Every study gets us a little closer. Abilities we once thought babies didn't have turn out to be there from the start. The wall between knowing nothing and knowing everything keeps getting shorter, which raises an uncomfortable question. If we've been underestimating babies this whole time, if there is something it's like to be them from the very beginning, then the way we think about them isn't just a scientific question. It's something much bigger. How we treat them in hospitals, how we talk to them before they can talk back. Whether the pain they feel in their first hours matters as much as the pain they'll feel at 30. We assumed they weren't home yet. We made a lot of decisions based on that assumption. In the 1970s, a psychologist named Selma Freyberg studied babies who were born blind. She wanted to know one thing: would they still smile? They did. At exactly the same age as babies who could see, 6 to 8 weeks, a real smile, directed at a voice, at a touch, at a person. They had never seen a face. They had never seen anyone smile. They couldn't copy it. They couldn't learn it. And yet, there it was. Which means the smile wasn't about seeing. It wasn't about learning. It was about something else entirely. Something that was already there. Something that wanted to connect. Whether or not that baby knew it existed, it knew you were there. Maybe that's where it starts.